So this one I'm going to do on prayers and blessings. Everything I say, prayers and blessings to all that feel me. Shane Michael Rogue One, which my angel said that that's part of the path to salvation, because you must feel me. You must shed past to present lives, karmic debts, and soul contracts. Your soul might be in control of other lives. You might be a good person. They might not be a good person. So you have to consciously work on that and to shed, purify mind, body, and soul for spiritual growth, and, do conscious cleanses. You have to do this. Otherwise, you have no chance at judgment. And I'm telling you this now. But I'm trying to help you. And, so prayers and blessings to all that feel me. I've got, maybe like 1 million words posted. I've texted in the range of maybe 2 million words. I don't know. I know someday a lot of that will be calculated, and I've already seen that. But, I've got more words posted on Facebook than any person alive, and probably more than, a good chunk of them combined. Well, that's hard to gauge right there, because there's millions, and no way. But I do have, maybe about 1 million words posted on Facebook, and all to help people. And I don't ask for no money, from nothing, from nobody, even though I struggle to live. But, that's, my angel said how since I was a child, I've got tens of thousands of hours of forward-loving intent on global or, universal betterment. And I'm consciously, even if subconsciously, my whole life trying to save the world. And, trying to better everybody that I can. It's like I live to make people smile, and I live to make people stop and think. And I've never in my life lived for me or ever cared really about me, even though I learned to love myself 244 many years ago, when my angels, when I was screaming, why me, why me, why do you keep saving me, why do I have to be the savior, why do I have to keep living, through this hell and to feel all this pain. And they've showed me many times why me, and so I don't really scream that anymore, because I know. And it sucks, but it's very hard to deal with. And but they told me to share my story as I can. I am the messenger, Mirror Curious, Hermes, Light Scribe, Divine Light Scribe, Nightlight. Anyway, I know it's going to be very hard for anybody to understand me, and most of the stuff I say is going to sound crazy, which, 5-6 years ago, I wouldn't have believed 80% of what I say right now. I'd have looked at me 6 years ago and been like, what you smoking, homie? Let me get some of that. You got something good over there. You're on cloud 9. But, I'm more than cloud 9. When things go at conscious density level, and when the most highest beings there are, level off at, heaven's level 6 conscious density. Level 7 is the archangel, archetype, archon level. There's handfuls at level 8. Level 9 is like the Council of 9. And maybe 2 or 3 souls have ever, I think maybe 5 souls have made it to like level 10. And level 11, maybe 2 or 3. And they say that I've turned around from level 13 3 times. And they ask me why I keep turning around, which multiple times they've explained why I'm Trice Great. Which is Hermes, which is one of the names that they called me, and which I did a project as a kid on Hermes in grade school and in high school, and they're like, do you know why you got chosen for these both times? And I was like, No, it was just who I got stuck with. It wasn't what I wanted. They're like, well, it wasn't what you wanted, but it's what you are, and it's not a coincidence. And then, it goes down to intelligence and what's a coincidence. You know, you know, like when multiple times I've had people try to kill me, like what's a coincidence? How many times is this a coincidence that somebody just happens to shine a weird spotlight at me in traffic and I automatically go into convulsions and almost crash. You know, After, 3 to 6 times, that's not a coincidence. Or when people try to run me off the road, after the second time in a day, when by the time it's a couple days, when there's, 6 or so times of people trying to run me off the road, it's not a coincidence. There's no such thing as a coincidence for intelligent people. And I've known since I was a teenager that I'm, one of the more advanced, intelligent people. And, at 13 years old, I personally advanced human conscious 50 to 80 years, which no person alive can say that without lying. I already know this. The next person alive that has elevated universal conscious right now, more than any rich person, which now, she could be considered a rich person probably in multiple timelines, is my love, which would be Mary Magdalene. And, she's got hundreds of groups that, that pretty much every single person in the world that has a Facebook page is following one of them, and most of them are for, spiritual betterment. And yes, some of those groups I see as degrading, but they also still are popular to the point where she is still spreading a positive spiritual message, even if, the attention, to get the attention for those groups isn't the most positive way to get attention. She is still spreading a positive message and still, to me, one of the most influential or important saints ever to be, hands down. And I know that it will be recognized, globally, one of these days after I'm, recognized. Even though she's already recognized more than I am, I already know this. Even though I am, she wouldn't be there without me, and most of you, none of you would be where you're at right now without me. I have personally elevated universal conscious 50 to 80 years. You are in my timeline. If you want to go back 30 years to the other timelines, most of you wouldn't be there. I promise you. And the other timelines, most of you wouldn't be there. And if you were, you would be a much more primitive being. I can promise you this. And I can explain it to you in detail. Or if you just, look at my posts, I explain it pretty well. I'm trying to get the hashtag or the pound SHNMCL, which is, something that my angel said that, was one of my first, it was my first Facebook page name, and has been many of my slogans and PowerPoints. But they say that, it's more 9/11 Happy Rip. Yeah. So every time I see 9/11, to me it's a happy rip. 911. It's my birthday, but it's a prayer for all those. It's pretty much a prayer for the world, but for all those that feel me, But even those that were sacrificed, that aren't here to feel me, I pray for them. But everybody else that hears that, they got to feel what that means, But pretty soon everybody's going to feel that, and it's going to change things. They're going to be like, wow, that's powerful. Which I already know it is, I already know that my prayers are some of the most powerful thing. Well, I'm the most powerful being there is, But I'm here to share the love, and all we need is love. Love is all we need. All I need is hugs. Really, I just need hugs. But, I'm here to stop Noah. I'm here to end the Noahide laws. My angel said I saved millions to billions of lives by stopping no-hide laws. They actually, it's more specific about 2.8 billion lives is what I'm going to save by saying stop Noah. So if you don't know what that means, you need to look up what is no-hide laws. And you need to go, hey, Uncle Sammy, yo, we got to change this right now. There's no waiting, no playing games with that. You got to change that right now. Hey, now. Hey. It's very upsetting that there's a law in the books to eradicate Muslims and Christians. And you accept that? That's just not cool. Anybody that accepts that, it's going to hell. I'm promising you right now. I'm the final judge, and I'm telling you right now, anybody that accepts that, down to the left gets sent. You don't even know. Judgment is within a blink of my eye. Very fast. It's like a plasmic blast of gas. It just engulfs the earth within of angels. Just, I'm telling you, right now, everything I just said in here is like the cheat code to pass judgment. I'm doing this because I love the world. I love everybody. I'm here to save you. But nobody's here to save me. It's like I'm starting this campaign. It's like starting today. Save me so I can save you. Who cares about saving me, even though I'm Jesus de Cristo San Miguel here saving you? St. Michael, the battle angel, that is me. You don't even know. But anyway, I do risk my life for global betterment. Well, not just global, universal betterment. 44. So, I need, where's your heroes at? Where's your men? Where's your patriots? I'm not trying to get nobody to fight. I don't want nobody to fight. I want you to stand up and feel me. Say stop no-hide laws. Everybody needs to start screaming that. If you're not screaming stop no-hide laws, you accept it. Guilt by association, blatant ignorance is the worst sin. And I'm telling you,